Huh. I wonder if it. Okay. Oh, it was recording the whole time. I didn't click on. Sorry about the delay, you guys, and talking to myself and talking to you. Okay. So remember yesterday I was showing you this triangle. Remember the triangle is like the fourth letter in Greek, represents the D for doorway. And then you've got the rainbow is upside down. The rainbow upside down is representing the pole shift, right? So we're doing a pole shift and we're going through the door. So now think about when Alice, the cartoon of Alice in Wonderland. So she goes down, she falls down this hole and she's going, she keeps going. And she goes, I wonder if I'm going to go through the center of the earth and end up on the other side upside down. So anyway, when she goes down, when she does get to the bottom, she has to flip over and then, she runs after the rabbit. So it's like when we're going down, we actually do a pole shift. It's our body that shifts. So it's like when I was noticing the other day about this book, that here, we're down here, we go through a door and we flip over and there's another world. That's the world we're going to. So I got to look at this because remember a couple of days ago, okay, for 1, 2, 3, 4, this is the second day this is on. So and they usually change it every day. Okay, so you've got 2 days of this, which today's the second day. Then 2 days before that, it was showing the DNA strand. The DNA strand for 2 days. And 2 days before that, or, the 2 days before that, it was showing this saucer, like a mothership that was sending down these rays or these beams down on a mountain. Well, remember I was telling you the mountain is the top of our head, up to the highest mountain, the peak, which is our mind's eye, their crown, right? So I was just listening to somebody on the internet, and you can tell there's something different about them. They're talking, they're frustrated. They're expressing themselves saying, I'm love, but the sound of their voice, the tone, their body actions are showing something differently. They're showing that the body is still unsettled, not sure what it's, they're focusing on love and they want to be about love and they don't want to be about destruction. But then you've got the body that's like, I have something to say, and I love her to death. So, it's not bashing this person. It's recognizing, it's observing, just like anybody would when we're observing the world, observing our own life, observing the people that we talk to, their body language, their facial, their tone, that, the senses that, your body just picked up on naturally. So, I wanted to mention that we're going through a pole shift right now. Let's see if I can zoom in here. And that's what they're showing us. Remember, this world tells us what's happening. Because remember, this triangle is the fourth letter, means a doorway. And you can see the red on our rainbow should be down here. So it's showing that the rainbow is flipped and we're going through the doorway. So this is why we have to look at everything. Let's see here. Now you have, let's do Pink Floyd. Oh, sorry, let me zoom back out. Pink Floyd, pyramid. And remember, the pyramid is what they call the Bin stone. It's right up on top of our forehead. It's an energy center. See right here where it shows the pyramid, and it shows, now this is where I think showing when we come into the world, because Pink Floyd, if you recognize Pink Floyd, is talking about another brick in the wall, talking about people being programmed and they're following the script and how they're all lost, and the bloodshed and that kind of thing, a war. we come from the light, we go into this rainbow world, right? We went through a doorway, and we're here. Well, now we're evolving or changing, since the upgrades were happening from a higher, on a spiritual level. And then now they're showing us we're now going through the doorway upside down. We're doing a pole shift. And if you know, I took geography in college, and Oregon State University, they have a building just set up for all over the world, and they deliver the core samples of the earth. They take them from all over the ocean and everything. And we went over there for a trip, and they cut it like a field trip or scientific because we got to use the microscopes and everything. And we screws on out. And we were looking at the samples, and they had like these tiny, tiny, tiny little shells that are identical on a micro level to, bigger shells that we see on the beach. But they're tiny. And it's really quite interesting to see that kind of thing, and see the different colors of the soil because you can see where the pole shift happens, because the landscape, the levels of the earth, the landscape, it's really quite amazing. You'll have to experience that. So this is saying like our world right there. Now we're going out of this reality, of this world, going into the fifth dimension, because remember, Trump had even announced in his little code that the seal has been broken. So it's and then I showed you on my channel. Let's see, where was it? Let's look at our videos, because Gina Marie actually did it, and I went and these videos right here. You can see it. You can see right here on this one. You can see.
I think I cut it off too soon.
Yeah, I did on the other one. So I'll show you right here where, dang it. I need to get back to this one. So this is the United States, and it's coming from Rome. Remember, Rome holds the 4 secret Horus files: the human, the jackal, the falcon, and the baboon. And I think the baboon holds our intestines, and the falcon is the liver, and then you got the jackal for the senses, the 5 senses, and you got man for the intuition, the 1 sense. So very interesting, right? So it shows from Rome coming over here, and this is where Trump announced that the seal was broken. Now, if you look really closely, if I can pull this up, there's got to be a better view of this. It shows, yeah, you can see the diamond shape right there. So it crushed, there's this, and it also looks like a big book that was landed. Let me go to the other video, because I think I show a better picture of it there. So let's look, and this is the one for 6 minutes or something like that. Okay, let's see if we can. Yeah, you can see from coming over from Rome, like this big book landed. You can see it looks like bricks, and it landed, so it broke the seal, okay, on the United States of the control. Remember, they're talking about the cartel, and they mention cartel down here in Mexico all the time, but they don't mention the deep state cartel in America, even though America is the biggest drug pusher ever, right? And works with the World Health Organization and funds the World Health Organization, along with funding Israel over there too. So, you've got this energy transfer coming, and it's like this big book that lands on America, slamming it down. Isn't that wild? I'm not sure, but you can go ahead and check out this video. And then, right here is where the umbrella is. So see, the book gets slammed on it. It's all actually happening as it goes along. And you can see right there an umbrella right on top that landed. and then it turns in, you can see a big book there, and then you can see like a diamond shape. So it's like a purple diamond. Let's try to move it up a little bit. But you can clearly see the umbrella. Let's see if I move it in. That formed on top. The umbrella is for Judaism. It's also representing, remember in, what was it? Mary Poppins, when they jump into the picture frame. Quite interesting. That's a great, good one. So the two children and the Mary Poppins and the chimney guy, they jump into his paintings, right? And then they have that merry-go-round, right? So they're in a whole new world. They go to a doorway. It's really quite interesting. So they go through a doorway, and even their clothes change, right? For that timeline. And it's like a fun place, right? It's dancing, it's love, it's all that kind of symbolism. So it shows coming from Rome, as Rome, this energy, which I do believe it's the jackal that's removing their power, the ones that are over here in the cartel of their power, the ones acting like God, and they slammed the book on them. So I think that's when Trump even mentioned the seal was broken. And then all this stuff is coming out on the world stage. All this proof, all this wildfires, because shortly after this, Canada started catching on fire all up in here. And that's when New York turned orange, so everything is like scripted for a certain type of timeline. And then I'll show you if we can. And that's where I was mentioning it right there. You can actually see it. And then here, it's all coming out of Rome. And you can see somebody right there as they're rising up. But the interesting thing, as he rises, this person rises up, it's like you can see all these red lines and stuff that are, I think they're actually touching, each one of these lines is a bloodline or touching an individual person. And you remember that movie, The Mummy, where when the mummy comes back to life, he's sucking the life out of the life force out of these people. So it's like he's sucking the life force to build himself back up. So now think of Jesus, of all those, every child that's born, and even children, like I was seeing yesterday that there was this high priestess, and they were talking about Gloria Vanderbilt, the high priestess, and they're doing like 1,000 children of sacrifice a month. And I'm just saying what I've seen on BitChute. I don't even know if it's true or not. But when we look at this world and what they do to children, and I guess they were sacrificing these children, for the adrenochrome, right? It's like an LSD high or a heroin high, they said. But anyway, it has to do with drinking children that are in fear mode. They're the flight or fight response. It boosts up their blood. So when Jesus returns or rises back up or resurrects, he pulls back. And then remember, in the mummy, they took the sacred vials of the sacred ones. And then in the book of Daniel, remember the writing on the wall when they started drinking or taking drinking or celebrating with the other king's 4 vials. And that's when the writing was on the wall. So it's quite interesting. So it's like Jesus is rising back up and taking back all the blood that was stolen or taken and, for misuse and abuse to all these powers. And then that's when the book had come over and slammed on America, because that's exactly where it's facing, is going from Rome to America. And then that's the same time that the Pope was going through a surgery of lobotomy. So very interesting as well. And then actually, I think they showed the Pope coming out and he was waving and the people were giving him good wishes that he's well again or doing better. and he was thinking about him. So it was really quite interesting because it was like his demeanor you can tell his demeanor and his actions have changed as well. So that's what I wanted to, I got Gina Marie was showing this, and I thought this is just fascinating stuff because over here in Rome, you can actually see like this resurrection of this guy right there. And he is just pulling all this, it's like he's pulling all the blood back into him, which I do believe that this was Jesus Christ. And I bet you they've had his liver and his intestines. His liver and intestines, because I seen something yesterday where they on a BitChute where they were showing because that the evil back then split him open through the middle, and that kind of makes sense because that's what they're doing to all these little children. They're just sorry I had to bring that image to you, and I hate looking at that image and thinking about that image, but that's what they were doing to these things, and that's what they showed that they did to Jesus. And it's really quite interesting because when Jesus, even they show pictures of Jesus, they show him opening up his chest where his heart's at. And, it's kind of like a splitting open of his skin as well. So it's like they're showing us, even through that type of artwork. I guess once we start realizing or seeing this stuff, because no one really sees it and believes it, but it's actually happening. And then you've got all these mob bosses and these criminals, the ones who have drank and are the false trumpets and the false Bidens and the false people, Congress and Senate. They're all the Goliaths, right? They're all going on with this lie. But anyway, so again, it's very interesting end times and new beginnings, because we can't forget the new beginnings, because we're going through a pole shift. We're going to flip over like Alice does. She falls down this hole, and then she's like, I wonder if I'm going to the center of the earth and I'll end up upside down. And she does. When she gets to the bottom, she has to turn upside down and get on the ground and then walk. So I have this feeling, because this whole world, it's like half truths, but it's gotten to, before this happened, it was nothing but, well, some of them are still sticking with their lies, but, they're already showing, like, on BitChute that something happened to Madonna. And then I was telling you about the couple of governors that they were mentioned that, and then Epstein, immediately he's hung himself. And I think from my perspective, this is just my opinion, but I believe that once they captured him, they put him at Gitmo, and the military, because remember, God's in charge of this large army, no matter what people really think, because you've got many armies out there, right? You can see them all over the place, but God's army is also in the physical as well. And, remember that King David said that they'll lose their heads. And, if you remember, I was telling you about the movie Clue, where they have this rope, a hanging noose rope. So it's like they're losing their heads as well. So and where was it? Oh, that's interesting, because you also have the 12 tribes. The 12th card of the tarot cards is the hangman, right? Where people are hanging upside down, and they just hang themselves. And then the 0 and the 22 card, 0 is the new beginnings, and 22 is like the chi in Greek, which is the 22nd letter. But the 22nd letter in Hebrew is the last letter, and it represents an X for Tav. So it's really quite amazing what they're showing us, and that's the Fool card, playing the Fool. Playing the Fool is just like being Alice when she's with her cat, and then, she tells her cat, bye, see you later. So she's playing a fool. She's taking that leap, that step of faith, right? And I was noticing that I wanted to mention too is that fear. I put in there, how many times does Scripture tell us to stay out of fear? And it says 365 times. To fear not is stated in the Bible, 365 times, which ironically is how many days are in a year. Isn't that amazing? Just like I was mentioning that it's mentioned 40 times to meditate in Scripture. And if we look at Hebrews, value of 40 is MUM, which is mountain rapid water, or like the moon. But I don't know. But anyway, I just want to put out there that be happy. Look at the signs that they're showing us, and remember that our planet does a pole shift. It's got a history doing the pole shift. Sudden destruction. And then those that are marked by God. And remember, I was telling you about that, the marking on my hands where it said the JG. And then on my forehead, I was seeing it. I was showing you a while back where it had a Z. And remember, I was discovering yesterday that the Z is the sixth letter in ancient Greek, but it's also like the whole, the sixth dimension. So we just got to remember, I was saying, we got to figure it out. We're sailors, we're seamen, we're riding on the sea, right? We're floating up and down. We go with the flow, and we have iron faith in God. And remember, our blood is the iron. So anyway, check out that video on my channel. It's like, because I remember I removed all of them. So there's only like 26 videos, but this would be the 27th video once I upload it. But if you watch this, you can actually see it happening. And even someone laying down there and this person actually working on them, like they're giving them a libido or something. It's really wild. And then it shows this book coming over. So when I was saying that Lord Jesus has resurrected, he's back again. So remember, those who disturb the sacred vials, or